Hello everybody and welcome to episode 4 of the anygames.ie podcast with myself Dave and as always Gav. Gav, how's your week been?
It's been good, Dave. Since we last did the podcast I was away in Italy at a family wedding.
I know, you sent me a picture.
I did, because it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was down just outside a town called Pisa, which is down the south. It's on the mainland, but it's just across from Stromboli and Sicily.
Sounds lovely.
Beautiful part of the world, I have to say. Unbelievable. And yeah, the beers were flowing and the crack was 90, so good time was had by all. And yeah, special shout out to my cousin Warren and his beautiful wife now, Bev. Thanks for an amazing few days. It was unbelievable.
Lovely. And the Stromboli pasta was lovely.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be a pasta, but it's not. It's a vicious volcano that erupts most nights.
Nice. So it's a spicy pasta.
It's a spicy pasta.
Fair enough.
Bit of a kick.
Yeah.
So, Dave, what's been going on in the website this week?
This week I want to shout something out on the website. Dunshaughlin Youths. They are recruiting for a new senior team that they have put together. It's in the United Churches League and they're looking for players to come down. So if anybody is in or near the Dunshaughlin area and looking to get involved with a bit of football, they're looking for players who are looking to get back into a bit of football, or just looking for players to start a new team in general.
Yeah.
So,
Still think they have a bit to prove.
Yeah. And they're just looking for players in general. Like, you know yourself what it's like to try and start getting a new team off the ground, or a new team for your club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can be challenging.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Dunshaughlin. The details are over on anygames.ie. Contact them there if you're interested.
And then just going to grassroots football. This week the DDSL are running the It's My Game and Silent Sideline campaign. It's aimed at, I suppose, nipping the bad behaviour in the bud on the sidelines. So that's whether it's from coaches, parents, anybody attending the game, to just allow the kids be kids and allow them play the game. I've been very lucky that parents associated with my team, they are quite supportive on the sideline, and none of them are really aggressive, or they're not abusing referees, or as coaches we don't get abuse from them if we lose a match or make a wrong call or don't give a kid enough game time, whatever it might be.
But we've all seen it on the sidelines.
But that's not to say I haven't seen it from other teams either.
Everybody is there volunteering, trying to do their best, and nothing could turn a child off maybe wanting to play football more than aggressive behaviour from parents or other coaches. I've seen it from coaches on other teams as well. But just being overly zealous, shall we say, with coaching their kids.
Yeah, I think you see it more so, I think, in probably the higher divisions, where you might have some parents who are essentially trying to live through their child and really want their child to make it to the Premier League and so on and so forth. And I think you're right. I think it can put kids off. Yeah. If they associate football with being shouted at the whole time, it's not really going to make for long-term interest, is it really? They'll
stay in it for as long as the person putting them in it has the kind of control and discipline over them to do that. But then as soon as they hit their teens, they're going to just pack it in. This football crack's not for me. See you later.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the older the kids get, the louder the coaches get. But yeah, I know from my own perspective on the sidelines, I'm quite animated, but I'd like to think that I go for more the positive reinforcement route, and really just, you're shouting because you're on the sideline and you're in a large environment and you might be trying to give direction to the player on the opposite side. I don't like to spend any time whatsoever giving out to kids. I mean, the lads I coach are 10 and 11, so that wouldn't be my thing anyway. But if again, at that age group, I have seen it from other coaches, and coaches maybe abusing the referee or having a go at another coach or whatever it might be because there's a disagreement in decisions. Sometimes what you'll get as well is a game, particularly at lower level, where there's no referee available, because there is a shortage of referees, particularly underage, available, and that can often lead to disagreements because there's no mediator for decisions.
Yeah.
So it can often lead to arguments and stuff. But
And that kind of thing will only lead to further referee shortages. I mean, there was a couple of high-profile cases in the last year or so of referees being attacked at games. Now, I'm not talking about kids' games, maybe they weren't, but
yeah,
it has happened, and it's just it is going to lead to people just not wanting to get into refereeing.
yeah, and look, it does happen, and the game certainly needs referees. I spoke to a former referee who refereed Sunday League games at senior level, and he had to abandon a game because multiple fights broke out. After the game, he went back to the car park, and there was a couple of lads waiting for him at the car park.
It's just crazy.
Which is absolute madness over game football.
Over football.
Absolute madness.
No.
So,
and we've all seen it. We've all seen instances like that.
Yeah. Now look, we get bad refereeing decisions, of course we do, and it does happen, and it can decide a game sometimes, but it should never get to that level. That's ridiculous.
I mean, that happens at every level of the game.
Yeah.
You know, looking at Premier League referees who can't get a decision right even with the technology they have. So what chance does a Sunday League or an amateur league ref have of like being able to get every decision right every week? You know, it's just impossible. So, you know, bit of patience.
I heard a good description of, like, it's not just abuse being shouted, it's not just one person complaining that a child has made the wrong pass or didn't make the move or missed a good opportunity, whatever it might be. It's actually trying to coach the child through every single step on the pitch. So what I mean by that is, let's say Johnny's the goalkeeper and you have Johnny's dad behind the goal, and he tells him to play it out wide to Dave, who's right back. Dave's dad is standing on the sideline at right back, and he tells him to play it up the wing there to Wayne. Wayne gets the ball at right wing. Then Wayne's dad tells him, cross it in there to Tony.
Yeah.
Tony's in the box. Tony's dad shouts, volley.
Yeah.
The ball goes in. What did any of those kids learn?
No,
they might have scored a goal.
They just learn to listen to their parents.
We talk about the modern game, professional level being overcoached. Sometimes you just have to let them play.
Yeah. Let
them figure out these things, and there's a lot to be said for allowing a player to be creative. And what I mean by that is, if you don't allow a young lad to dribble the ball and take somebody on, because there's a high percentage chance that he's going to lose it. So let's say he does that 20 times and he's lost it every time. So now your instructions are recycle the ball, hold on to it, turn around, play it back, just to keep the ball. You're taking the magic out of that player's game.
Yeah.
He might have to try it 20 times, and then the 24th time he gets past two people. Now you're giving him a spark. He's going, I can do this.
Confidence.
He's getting the confidence.
Yeah.
He's going to try it again. He's going to get better at it. And now maybe he does it once in every 5. And when we talk about Ryan Giggs, he did an interview recently, I think it was with Rio Ferdinand, and he was saying a lot of the time his players in the early days hate him because he was constantly losing the ball. And like that, it might take him 6-7 goals at trying to run the pitch, trying to take somebody on, try to get a cross in. It wouldn't always work. But that man has 13 Premier League titles.
Yep.
Because he kept going, and the magic moments happened.
Yeah.
That's what football's about.
And at youth level, you're trying to nurture that skill. So yeah, they might lose the ball every so often, but they're going to develop. And then all of a sudden, they're getting better at that. You know, but if you stifle that, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, you have to allow them to play, figure out mistakes. Yes, teach them the basics, teach them setup, teach them formation, teach them communication on the pitch, but amongst themselves, not to be listening to their parents or listening to their coach the whole way through the game and talking them through every step of the game. It doesn't work that way, because then what happens if they do go for trials, or if they do step out on a football pitch with 60,000 people out in the stadium and they haven't got somebody telling them every single thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to our original point, with the DDSL's campaign, if you are in attendance from Friday, Saturday and Sunday of this week, so the 26th, 27th and 28th of September, it's absolute silence on the sideline. Come out and show your support to whoever you're supporting this weekend, but do it in silence. So no bad behaviour, no abuse to referees, and keep your instructions to a minimum. And let the kids play.
Yep. It's their game. I think
Exactly.
that's the slogan at the end of it.
It's their game. So moving on then, Dave, has there been much interaction across our socials this week?
There's been a little bit, Gav, which is great to see because we've been asking for that. We've been asking for people to give their feedback or to get involved in our conversations and let us know what their take is. And so last week we were talking about the introduction of summer football, which was brought to us actually from a user or a listener, should I say, who was raising questions for us as well. So it's kind of an extension of that. I'll just read through a couple of them here because there's a couple of people got back to us. So the first one is in the YouTube comments, is a user called Irish Shrimp Guy. He says the League of Ireland should change to winter football and follow the rest of the European leagues. Every team has the facilities for winter games now. If proper grassroots are to develop, then it should be League of Ireland setting the standard. Impossible for small town clubs to compete with GAA teams for summer ball. The FAI excuse after excuse. Shocking, really. So kind of agreeing with us in that. Stick with winter football.
So, great username, by the way. I want to start with that. What I would say is, I think the initial reason, if I'm not mistaken, for the League of Ireland to move to the calendar year and have summer football was to increase attendance and interest, obviously because it would differ from the likes of the Premier League and stuff who play winter football and then finish up around May, and then you'd have the LOI then would continue throughout the summer. And because the Premier League wasn't on, the hope, I believe, was that they'd see a rise in attendance during the summer and get more people interacting with Irish football. So I can see the reasoning for it, but I would be in agreement. I would think that it should be in line with all the top European leagues. If that's the aim ultimately of the League of Ireland, like we see now, we spoke about it before, we've now got teams competing regularly in Europe. Why are we not following the same course of direction as the rest of the top leagues in European football, if that's where we want to be?
Then we had another question, again same subject, slightly different take on it, is MCLJ Biscuits, again on YouTube, says you should just say you've only ever played winter football and don't want to change. Simple as. Sends us a laughing face. Ireland, autumn, winter are shocking, horrendous weather-wise. It makes sense to play spring and summer when the weather is better. Gives the pitches a chance. If you saw the state of some of the pitches across Ireland, you'd see they would never survive winter football. And don't throw out the GAA's played in summer argument. Soccer is the most played sport in Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree that soccer is the most played sport in Ireland. The only thing I would say on that is our summers last about 2 weeks at best. I mean, we're not blessed with 3 or 4 months of 20 plus degree heat. Like, I do agree there is a lot of positives for a move to summer football. And yes, he's also correct. Me personally, I've only ever played autumn winter football. But my point and my arguments last week were, if you are assembling a team for the new season, pre-season has become so important now. Imagine trying to do that in the winter. So if you're trying to get organised, get lads signing up, you know, you've got your membership fees, your league fees, and then you're asking lads to come out and get fit during the Christmas, when particularly at grassroots level all they want to do is see what Santa got them and play with the toys, and so on and so forth. So there is pros and cons to both arguments, and some of what Mr. Biscuits is saying is correct.
Yeah, I can't disagree with everything he says there at all.
Yes, but what I would say is, if it's worked for so many years in football all across the world, the majority of the world who play football, why are we trying to change it?
Yeah.
And I just think a lot of it was how it was presented, and that's why it got rejected. It wasn't presented very well.
Yeah, I think that was part of the problem. Well, that was the main part of the problem. He mentions about the GAA as well, which, although we did discuss last week and kind of said it's not really a factor, I do think it is a factor for some rural clubs.
It's definitely, down the country would be a huge thing.
You know, you have a small town where there's one GAA club, one football club, and you know that the GAA is going to be prioritised over that, and if they can't find a way to coordinate their days with each other or games on the weekend, some kids are going to definitely drop their soccer team for their GAA team.
Yeah.
It's not a problem everywhere, but it is a problem in some places.
Yeah, it would be. So there's a lot more to consider. It's not as black and white as simple as maybe it was presented, and a lot of things weren't taken into consideration. So, like
everything else with the FAI, I think they think people will just say, "Great, lads, this is going to work perfectly."
Yeah. So although this listener's take on it is different to mine, I'm not saying you're wrong. You're actually right in a lot of what you're saying. And I think that's a good thing. I think these discussions need to be had.
And that's why we want it. That's why we want the interaction, because I love getting other people's perspective on things. It's good to hear.
Yeah, the most important thing is that we're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then hopefully talking leads to action, and we can be, as a community, as we said, that we're looking to grow. We can find ways to be creative and get these points across.
And again, in a similar vein, in one of the comments on TikTok where we posted a clip of the podcast, Ado, he says, in the next few weeks, the weather's going to change and the majority of games will be postponed. So how will this benefit the kids playing football in winter months? Yeah,
again, it's a great point. And it ties back in what I was saying previously. There's a lot of benefits to playing football in the summer, but there is also negatives. I think Damien Duff was saying at one point that we should be up and training to 4 or 5 times a week. And we should be taking it more seriously, and the kids don't play out in the street, which is a huge thing as well.
Yeah.
And I think summer football would be great for a lot of those reasons, but I don't think it solves all the issues. I think there's probably a bit of a compromise to be had in some ways. I think the leagues should maybe go on a bit longer, maybe into June. I think they should also be looking to play a lot more midweek games where possible and try to get through the games that way. But as I said before, when it comes to the summer, particularly at grassroots level, every other week 1 or 2 kids is away on summer holidays.
Yeah.
And you can't expect parents to be going, okay, well, look, we can't go in July and August, so can you leave your holidays till September? Or we can't.
And then you get back into the school season.
And you're back into school,
so you have to. It is a consideration.
It definitely needs to be looked at again, but I think there needs to be some sort of compromise. I think maybe you take a longer break off in the winter. Maybe I don't know.
The FAI need to include clubs in the conversation.
It has to be a nationwide discussion amongst people involved at every level.
You can't just sit in your own towers.
Yeah.
Hold a vote. Say yes. Vote passed. Now everybody has to get in line.
Yeah.
And the pushback to that was evidence that it was ill thought out, basically.
Yeah, I don't think it's just as simple as saying we should be playing football when it's good weather.
Yeah.
Or when it's longer evenings. Because anybody who lives in this country knows that the weather doesn't always cooperate.
No.
It just doesn't. And there is a lot of factors. Summer holidays, schools, and to a lesser, I do take Mr. Biscuit's point there about the GAA as well, but I think that's probably to a lesser extent. I think it does affect.
Well, he was saying, don't give me the GAA argument. He didn't want to hear it.
he doesn't want to hear it. So I am saying that I do think it's a point, but to a lesser extent. I don't think that's the major issue at hand. I will take your point also that it's probably more so in rural areas rather than in the big smoke.
Yeah. I just know people who have played both and definitely jumped back to their GAA team.
Yeah.
Come GAA season.
You'll have lads who play both. They'll play both all year round. It's not as if the GAA is playing a different calendar. What happens is when the summer comes in, you've got, like at younger level, you'll have failures and you'll have championship and you'll have cups and all this sort of stuff going on, which majority of the time takes place during the summer. What happens there is that their calendars will change, so they might play their leagues every Sunday, but now they have a championship final on a Saturday or whatever it might be, vice versa, and that might interfere with what they're doing at their football club. So it is a consideration, but I do think it's to a lesser extent.
Yeah, I think that covers the listener questions. Just actually shout back out to Ado as well, because I went back and forward with him on TikTok here through the comments when he raised this question, and I just said it's something we'd love to do, is to get people involved, get people on this podcast who are involved with clubs, who are involved with grassroots football, or if you're involved with the FAI, anybody, if you want to come on and have a chat with us. And just a shout back to Ado, he said he'd love to hear that too. So if you're listening and if anybody wants to get involved, again, we throw clips out for this podcast. We put this podcast up on Spotify, YouTube. Anybody wants to drop into the comments with their questions, opinions on anything we speak about, feel free to do that. We are always going to shout them out here and answer them. And if you're involved with clubs, let us know. Come on and have a chat.
Moving on then, I want to introduce a new little segment, Dave, called In the News. It's original, I know, I thought of it myself.
What are the Kardashians up to now?
Yes, always with the Kardashians. There's been a couple of headlines this week, and I kind of wanted to discuss them with you. The first being Bruno to Saudi is back on the table for the end of this season, apparently. So I don't know if you remember, the Saudis came in and there was a lot of talk that Bruno Fernandes might be getting sold, and the price tag was 100 million. Bruno came out and said, no, I'm not going. Amorim said the same, no, he's not going, he's our captain. And it never happened. At the time, I kind of had a feeling that I'd listened to a lot of the United fan podcasts and stuff, and there was an argument to be made for selling him next season. So now that it's become a headline again, I'm asking the United fans out there, do you think United should sell Bruno at the end of this season? My thoughts on it is that we should, and it's nothing to do with his performances so far this season, even though he hasn't been at his best, but he has been a great servant, probably one of the best servants we've had at the club since Alex Ferguson's time, and he's been a great captain by all accounts. I know a lot of rival clubs and other clubs in the Premier League, he's one of those players that you just don't like, and I get that.
But as an Arsenal fan, I can attest to that. I don't like him.
No, a lot of people who are outside of Man United, who aren't Man United fans, won't like him, and I get that. But he has been brilliant, and his numbers have been brilliant every season. Even last year, when we finished where we finished, which was the worst season of all time, his stats were still up there. So my reason behind selling him is he's getting to an age now where, based on United's new policy as well of looking at youth and youth development and developing for the future, he doesn't fit that model. He'll be in his 30s and we're never going to get an offer of 100 million for him again. Now my understanding is that the feeling around the club is Mainu is lined up to be his replacement, and with the addition of Baleba, that's Amorim's idea of the perfect midfield for his system. It's the main reason that he didn't let Mainu go is because he wanted to be Bruno's understudy, even though he's already played a key role in United's team, particularly under Ten Hag. But that's how he sees the future of Man United's midfield. Whether or not Amorim's still there to see that future, we don't know, but we know that Man United have a keen interest in Baleba.
Just on the Amorim thing.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm actually on the way down to record with you this evening. I was listening to the Gary Lineker podcast, The Rest is Football.
The Rest is Football, yeah.
And they made the point about Amorim, just when you say whether he'll be there for that future or not. They made a good point with regards to the Chelsea game the weekend, saying that it looks like the players are still behind Amorim. When you see they put the performance in against Chelsea, the willingness was there from the players to fight, and you could see the spirit there amongst the players. So that's a good point. I mean, if he still has the backing of the players, that can go a long way for a manager.
Yeah, and it's you would say that, if there was one thing to take from United so far this season, that despite the results, they still look like they're playing for the manager. Now, some of that might be playing for the badge.
Yeah, possibly.
Some of it might be playing for themselves, as in showing that they still have the capabilities as individuals. But I do get the impression that yes, they're still playing for him, and that they're trying their best to buy into his system and his philosophies.
I suppose to just add to them my opinion on whether United should go and sell Bruno. Yes, if it's 100 million, yes, like that it's kind of a no-brainer when you have Mainu coming in as his understudy, as you say. And also, my thought on it there was, as you were speaking, and we spoke about this and Amarim's system and how he's not playing Bruno to his strengths. If you're not going to play him to his strengths in your system, why keep him around? Get the 100 million and find players that you do want to put there.
I think he probably felt that he could play that system, and probably still thinks he can, or at least has enough to see him through the next phase of this change. And being the captain and having the love for Manchester United that Bruno has, I think, and also probably the Portuguese connection as well, I think he probably wanted him to be that spokesperson on his behalf in the dressing room and on the training pitch, and help him get his message across. So I think there was a lot of that. He probably wasn't ready to let him go just yet, because he was kind of going to himself, this is my first full season in the Premier League now. I'm going to need Bruno alongside me to help with this transition, and we've got a couple of new signings now. He'll help them bed in and buy into my philosophy as well, so although he's not suited to his system, he definitely would have been good to have still is good to have
as a leader figure at the club.
Absolutely.
And I get that, and I think a lot of times with transfers, the timing has to be right for a sale, even if that is a season in the difference, and this feels like a case of the timing being right.
Part of me also thinks that United have also spent that money in advance, because if you remember Jim Radcliffe's interview with Gary Neville, and he was talking about all the cuts that had been made. He'd been talking about how the club might be bankrupt by Christmas, and then suddenly they're going out and they're buying everybody, and they were asking the question about Baleba as well, and he was always going to be a high figure, but they were still comfortable enough in their financial situation that they were able to turn around and say, well, give us a price to Brighton. You can't go from we could be broke by Christmas and sacking a few dinner ladies to suddenly we're going to spend 200 million this window. It just doesn't happen. So part of me thinks that there's already some sort of an agreement in the background that they're going to get that 100 million at some stage.
I think we're both in agreement, though, are we? That's the right time to sell.
I think by the end of next season, by the end of the season, it could be in a Champions League spot, and Bruno's the driving force of the team once again, and everything. But I still,
or in a championship spot.
In a championship spot, not Champions League, championship. But I still think it would be the right move for all parties. And speaking of Baleba, he apparently is becoming an interest for Liverpool, which worries me. Because there's a lot of talk. Baleba hasn't really started the season that well for Brighton. He hasn't looked like the player United were hoping to be buying, and it's understood a lot of it comes from his disappointment of not getting the move to Man United.
Okay. Because
apparently personal games weren't going to be an issue. There was a lot of discussion with intermediaries.
I never liked that from a player. Disappointment, okay, but go again and prove your worth and get your transfer next season.
But I would say he was very professional. He wasn't putting stuff up on social media. He wasn't not turning up for training. He wasn't training separately from the team. He was very respectful of Brighton. I just think his form has dipped because mentally he was kind of 1 foot out the door. which can happen. I don't think he was unprofessional in how he went about it.
Okay.
You know, that's my take on it. But it scares me that Liverpool might be interested in going in for him next
because
season.
there's only one place you're going to go. Well, you would think there's only one place you're going to go at the moment.
Yeah. Of course, that's Man United. No, it's not. It's Liverpool, unfortunately. But
Liverpool are a hard prospect to turn down.
They are, but I wonder where he sees himself in that Liverpool squad, because Gravenberch has been one of Liverpool's top performers at the moment, and he plays that role where United's alternative is Casemiro and Ugarte, and you're just thinking, well, he's a better option than both of them.
Yeah,
so
I suppose it does become a factor for a player, something like that. Especially United are going to pay you well as well.
Yeah, and I don't want to just make this all about Man United, but somebody who's still contracted by Man United but not currently playing for them, Marcus Rashford. Last Thursday he went out, and was it last Thursday or last Wednesday? I'm not too sure, I can't remember, but in the game against Newcastle in the Champions League, he went out and scored 2 top quality goals. Absolutely unbelievable. And from a United fan perspective, you're looking at it going, is this another player now who's after leaving the club and finding form again? You've seen Scott McTominay being nominated for Ballon d'Ors. You've seen Rasmus Højlund scoring in his first game for Napoli. You've seen Anthony become Zidane. Like we've seen it all, and you're kind of going, okay, maybe we're the problem. This is what you're left with. But
it's easy to look at it that way.
But I don't know if you've seen, I don't think you have, but there's a new podcast and it's called The Good, The Bad and The Football. It's hosted by Paddy McGuinness, and his co-hosts are Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes. And Paul Scholes was kind of quoted as saying he finds it very hard to be happy for Rashford that he quit on Man United. And I think most Man United fans would be in agreement with that. I don't think that's too shocking, but obviously it's a headline.
Yeah.
And then Rashford went and he was late for his match of the weekend for Barca, and he got put on the bench. Now he came on and he got an assist, But as a United fan, you're kind of going, look at him being late again. That justifies us sending him out on loan. Because for a long time at Rashford, you're kind of going, oh, maybe Amarim can get the best of him now, or maybe he'll just hit a bit of form and have that great season that he had 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And be the Rashford that we hoped. And
you and United fans might be better placed to tell me this, but I got the feeling with Rashford that he was a moments player, scored great goals, and you'll always see a great Rashford goal, but I feel like that's what you get with Rashford. It was highlights.
Yeah, and I get that point, but what I would say is football is all about moments. Moments change games. I mean, you've got 90 minutes on that pitch, and particularly in the modern game, a lot of it is passing side to side and passing it backwards and keeping possession. I mean, we'll get on to the Arsenal-Man City game shortly, but it takes moments. It takes a Szoboszlai free kick. It takes these, like you look at the majority of Liverpool's wins this season have come from the 83rd minute onwards. It's moments. It's winning a penalty. It's scoring a free kick. It is moments, and Rashford, particularly in that one particular season under Solskjaer, he was having these moments more and more frequently. And he found unbelievable form, and you thought, lovely, we're going to kick on. I think that was the season we finished second in the rally.
I suppose what I meant by that when I said it was,
you don't see him walking
incredibly
outside of that.
Incredibly talented.
And
probably could have been up there with one of the best in the game, I think, when you looked at him in his early career, and as you say, in that particular season. The work he would put in away from those moments, like his position would have been a high touch position for United, and I don't know. And as I said, I think you and United fans are a better place to tell me that.
Yeah, well, I like, as far as I'm concerned, there's no future there for Rashford at United. me personally, I'd like him to see him do well at Barca. He gave us great moments as a United player, and partly because I'd like to get 45 million euro for him as well, because I just don't think he can walk back in.
Is there a clause there? Sorry.
I think there's a buy option. It's not mandatory,
Okay.
as far as I'm aware, but I think the value is around 45 million, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not going to happen though if he keeps doing things like turning up late to training.
If his attitude and his professionalism isn't there, it doesn't matter what you do on the pitch.
No.
Because particularly, I'd imagine Hansi Flick, he's done it to Rafinha as well, where he's been late and he's started on the bench and he's trying to set standards and he's trying to, you know, instill his virtues as a manager onto the team. And if he doesn't do it, you have to remember, like, how many chances do you want? I mean, it didn't work out at Villa, and he's been crying for this Barca move for God knows how long. If this is your dream move, because it's not permanent, you don't have the luxury of wasting anybody's time or half-arsing it and just showing up and, as you said, having these moments. It's all well and good, but if you're not putting in the hard yards and training, setting an example for the younger players coming through, you won't be sticking around for long.
Before long, David Moyes will be coming and you'll be playing for Everton.
Yeah, well, if he does it as well as Jack Grealish, he'll be doing all right.
Well, yeah, we'll get on to that.
And then just the last little footnote, Isak has scored for Liverpool.
He has.
He scored a goal against Southampton in the EFL Cup, so that's his first, and the first of many, I'm sure the Liverpool fans are hoping.
And every other fan is raging because they were hoping maybe it would take him a little bit of time to get the ball rolling. Plus, Ekitike got a sent off.
But he also scored a goal.
He did, but
So
what I mean by that is that takes away the argument this weekend for the Premier League as to who starts, Ekitike or Isak.
Yeah, maybe he did it on purpose, so so Arnie wouldn't have a headache.
Yeah,
Just
chasing Sarah Connor.
Yeah. So that's it for Gav's segment of In the News this week.
In the nude this week.
In the nude. Hansi Flick. We will be back after these short messages.
Do you need a Hansi Flick?
Erectile dysfunction. Try the new cream, Hansi Flick.
So, moving on to last week's Premier League, Gav, and we had the first game of the weekend, which was the Merseyside derby.
Yep. Now, I was away, as I said, at a wedding, so we did try look at a few games on phones and stuff, but it wasn't really working. There was too many of us and it was a bit chaotic, so I haven't seen the majority of the games in full, but I have gone back to watch them all on the highlights. Now, Liverpool, with their first game of the season, not scoring a last minute winner, they were very impressive for the opening half hour, and then kind of just got comfortable and relaxed and kind of let everything back into the game a bit.
Yeah.
So that'd be a bit of a worry that they don't have that killer instinct to go and kill games off.
I did watch that game.
So not a worry for me, a worry for Liverpool fans.
For Liverpool fans, yeah. But I did watch that game, and I was texting someone during the game and actually said this is the best Liverpool have looked all season in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that Gravenberch goal was brilliant. And again, Ekitike, very composed. The biggest take from it, from my perspective, was that Salah looks to be getting back to form. And that's a scary proposition because Isak also scored, has his first goal for Liverpool. And you've got Mo Salah coming into a bit of form. So we've had 5 Premier League games and an EFL game and the Champions League game. So Liverpool are 7 from 7 and still haven't hit form. And I have a feeling this is going to go on.
Yeah.
I have a theory on this actually, okay? So I was looking at United's upcoming fixtures, and we've got Brentford, and we've got I think it's Sunderland, and then we've got Liverpool. Now, I don't know if you've been following this lad with the big mopper hair.
I have.
The whole thing is that he's not going to cut his hair until United win 5 in a row, which seems like it's never going to happen. However, we've won a game. Okay, so we've beaten Chelsea. We've got Brentford and we've got Sunderland. Both winnable games. Then we have to go to Anfield to make it 4 in a row. How class would it be now, right? If United go to Anfield and manage to win, and Liverpool are still unbeaten at that stage until United rock up there and end that. Could be a scruffy 1-0, I don't care. Right? United go 4 games in a row. Your man's in the barber chair. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? United have to go to Brighton, and I guarantee you,
Believe it, winner.
it'll be a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 draw or something.
Yeah,
and
something.
your man, at that stage, he's probably pulling his hair out.
At that stage, I'm just taking the razor.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. You're done. But that's
He had a
my
bit
little
of-
theory. I think United probably get 3, go to Anfield with their tails up, and have a go. Hopefully.
This could all go to shit.
Oh, listen, come here. The weekend we get spanked by Brentford, and forget about it.
To get back to Liverpool, though,
Yeah.
like I said, excellent in the first 30 minutes, and
Yeah.
as you said yourself, they dropped off, and Everton then found a bit of form in the game,
Second
found a
half-
bit of strength.
Yeah,
really
second
good in the
half they
second
were
half.
really good. Yeah,
Grealish and
Ndoye.
Dye,
Yeah,
they really pushed the team on, and actually, back to one of our things, the quiet player of the week.
yeah,
Tarkowski was mine.
yeah,
I think Liverpool could have been well away in that game at points.
yeah.
There's a couple of interventions he had. There was a few players really stepped up and pushed Everton forward, and they got their goal.
And it was a great goal as well.
It was another great goal.
Idrissa
yeah.
Gueye.
Yeah.
And it was on his weaker foot as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose then to wrap that game up, then again it was just Liverpool looking strong, and Everton put in a good performance. Everton actually made a good show of themselves actually in that game. They're looking good, I think.
They're coming on well.
Brighton Spurs. Yeah, I have to admit I didn't actually see much of this game.
Though I can't remember it really, to be honest. It was a bit of a meh.
Yeah, although it was a Desmond.
It was a Desmond.
Do you know what? It was a funny kind of weekend. I had one of those weekends that meant I didn't see a lot of football.
Yeah.
With one
Same.
thing or another. If ever there was a game that was going to be 2-2 on the weekend, you could probably say it was that one.
Yeah.
Burnley Forest.
It's a bit of a stalemate game as well.
I mean, Forest.
Nico Williams' goal was pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah. But Forest again.
First point for Ange.
First point for Ange. Is that a good away point at Burnley, newly promoted team?
I think any point when you're 2 games in for a manager is a good point. Forest, yeah, not the entertaining force that they were last season.
They might become that though, and whether they win or
Yeah.
lose, their games might be entertaining. With
Yeah, absolutely.
Ange there.
It's just it would be very hard for them to emulate what they did last season.
Yeah, especially with now trying to juggle European football this year as well.
Yeah,
West Ham Palace, and again more trouble for West Ham.
yeah. It's an interesting one. I mean, they got themselves back into the game, and that was it. I would have said the goal was against the run of play as well. For the most part, Crystal Palace dominated that game and probably could have scored a few more, to be fair. So
Do you think Potter's in trouble?
I've been saying it for weeks.
Yeah,
I mean, they had one good result, was it, against Forest, where they got 3 late goals.
yeah.
Outside of that, they haven't been great whatsoever.
No, and it's not looking good. I think I might have made the point in one of the other episodes that although a good coach, sometimes it's just not going to work out, and a change is needed.
Yeah, and he hasn't really done anything since his Brighton days.
No,
And you would argue that Zerbi did a lot better there in his time at Brighton than Potter did. Not to say Potter's not a good manager, but he's probably just a better coach.
yeah, a lot of good players played for the club under Potter as well.
You have to be a certain character to manage West Ham. You look at the managers that they've had over the last few years, and none of them have really worked out, and you're looking at yourself, who could come in there and who could do a job there?
Jose.
Well, Jose can't now because he's gone to Benfica, isn't he?
Did he go? He has gone, hasn't he?
I think that's done.
Yeah. But that kind of character, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think they need somebody in there who's a bit larger than life.
Danny Dare.
You could probably get Angelotti or something in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Something like that. Stranger things have happened, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do get rid of Potter. I'd imagine it'd be pretty soon if things don't dramatically turn around. So it'd be interesting to see who they bring in then if that's the case.
Yeah. Then we had Wolves and Leeds. Leeds with a good, well, I say a good 3-1 away win. I think anybody is going to beat Wolves this season.
Yeah, I think the couple of highlights for Leeds fans there would be Calvert-Lewin getting a goal first and foremost, and Anton Stack's free kick was pretty special as well. It
was 3 first-time scorers for the club.
Yeah,
which is a good story.
Which is great for them. And look, I think we both had Leeds to stay up this season, did we? Or did we have them to go down? No, I think we had them to stay up.
I had them to go down bravely, you know.
And I think I agreed when I shouldn't have.
Yeah, maybe
because the more I see Leeds, they're not that team to go down, I don't think.
No. I mean, you're looking at the bottom 3 now. Is it Wolves, West Ham, Villa?
Leeds are one of those, you change your mind on them every week because they give you something, then they give you nothing. And
yeah.
The cycle repeats.
They're going to, I said it in our first episode, Leeds are going to be a club who will be entertaining to watch this season.
Yeah.
They might
I'll
go
always
down.
watch Leeds if they're on.
Yeah, they might go down, but you'll have enjoyed watching them.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I see them. Moving on, Gav. Man United and Chelsea.
You know, this is a weird one because I should be delighted that United have beaten Chelsea, and don't get me wrong, I am, but I would have preferred to have done it as 11v11.
Yeah.
And see how the game developed.
Yeah.
Because that win comes with an asterisk now. They've had the goalkeeper sent off for a ridiculous tackle a couple of minutes into the game, and for the majority of that game we end up playing against 10 men. We did come out with absolute intent.
Yeah.
And we hit the ground running and put pressure on Chelsea early doors, but we've done that in other games and haven't seen them out. So we did the same against Fulham, we did the same against Arsenal. We didn't get over the line in either of those games, and I think it would have been much more of a statement if the playing field was level.
Yeah.
I think it would have been much more of a statement win, where I just think now it has that little asterisk beside it. Some of the positives to take out from it would be, like we said before, it looks like the players are playing for Amarim, which is great. Some of the players, although United haven't been collectively consistent, there has been a number of consistent performers for Man United, if that makes sense. So De Ligt, you know, there's talk of him being a future captain. If Bruno was gone, would he take over the mantle? He's been brilliant in every game so far this season.
And Mbeumo's been very good.
Mbeumo has been an absolute bright spark, and we do have a lot of quality players. It's just collectively they're not a quality team at the moment. So I think we have to go now and we have to beat Brentford, and that's the big test. I think if we had have had that statement win against Chelsea, although we came away with 3 points, if we had had that statement win, I think,
like if Brentford go now and beat just 2-0 this weekend,
it means nothing.
It
means
just
nothing's
shoots everything
changed.
down. And
exactly. And then we're back saying, how much more time do we give Amarim? Where if he gets those couple of wins under his belt, if he can go and get a win against Brentford, if he can go and get a win against Southampton, and we rock up to Anfield and get beaten 5-0, it's not Amarim out.
No,
we're just not on Liverpool's level at the moment.
The narrative is a lot different.
We expect to get spanked there. Do you know what I mean? So if we're beating everybody else, though, fine, happy days. You'd also think that by that stage we're going into Anfield, a couple of wins under a belt. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm thinking of I still think the most Man United fans are Amarim in, and they'd like that to work out.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't got back-to-back wins. So
No, and
Brentford is a must.
That's the next step, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, look, happy with the 3 points at Chelsea. Of course I am. Casemiro sending off was a bit silly. 2 yellows. One was high up the pitch, didn't need to do it.
I thought the second one was a bit harsh.
It was a bit harsh. I mean, he was going for the ball.
It's one of those ones.
But he was kind of dragging out him.
You've seen it given, and
Don't
when you're
give
on
the
a
referee
yellow, don't
an
let the
excuse to level up the teams.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Just a little note on Chelsea there, and I don't know, I haven't seen any further reports, but did Cole Palmer go down again in that game?
No, so he was taken off because Maresca had a bit of a meltdown. So when they went down to 10 men, they took Estevao off, put on a new keeper, and then they took Pedro Neto off, and they took Palmer off. Now I think it was a real sort of Italian mentality of, okay, we're going to defend for our lives now and hope to catch somebody on the break, but he left absolutely no creativity on the pitch.
Okay.
I think the whole thing of talking about Palmer carrying the knock is just kind of
Smokescreen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if that was the case, why didn't you take Palmer off and leave Neto on?
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
Neto gives you that creativity still. So it was a bit of a moment of madness from Maresca. So,
Grand. Fulham Brentford, one of those results you just see. 3-1 Fulham, home win. Good win for Fulham.
well, United drew with Fulham,
Yeah.
and Fulham beat Brentford. United play Brentford next, so ipso facto, Brentford are going to smack United around. You know it's going to happen.
So yeah, there's not much to say about that one. Good win for Fulham, I suppose.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Fulham have a lot of positives within their team. Kind of always had a soft spot for Harry Wilson. I always thought he was a really good player. Wasn't always a starter. He was for a long time, and then it's Marco Silva that's in there at the moment as manager. Am I right?
I think so. Yeah.
And I think he kind of fell out of favour with him, but then he made a couple of appearances off the bench and brought something new to the team, and I think he's worked his way back into Fulham's team, and yeah, great player. And then you've got Calvin Bassey, you've got Alex Iwobi, good, some
good
really
players.
just
Yeah.
good, solid Premier League
They've been
level
around,
players.
and
and they're very athletic, big, strong team, difficult to play against, particularly at Craven Cottage. They're tough to play against. So, as you found out. So, they'll be fine. They'll be nice mid-table finish for Fulham, I'd say.
Then moving on to Sunday, we had Bournemouth and Newcastle, and then we had Sunderland and Villa. Because I'm not talking about Bournemouth and Newcastle because it was 0-0 and there wasn't much happening.
Okay.
In interest.
In that vein of thought, you might as well not talk about Arsenal.
No, we're fucking talking about Arsenal.
Because nothing happened in that game either.
Oh, something happened.
Let me tell you. Arsenal playing keep ball and doing nothing with it.
Playing
Majority of that game.
against Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. Prime Jose Mourinho's
Sam
Chelsea.
Allardyce Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's what they were playing. Long
It
ball
was-
merchants.
It was a terrible game of football.
Awful.
Terrible game of football. We'll come back to it. We'll go back to... Do you want to talk about Newcastle Bournemouth?
I don't think so. It was a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Sunderland Villa, though, I think it's worth talking about because Sunderland have impressed me since coming up,
Yeah.
and Villa have far from impressed me this season. Ollie Watkins troubles again in front of goal. I think he missed a fairly good chance at the end of that game.
Absolute sitter.
Yeah.
Absolute sitter. And I just think there's no vibe with Aston Villa like there was. There's no buzz. There's nothing about them.
Gone from one of last season's most exciting
I
games.
used to like watching them. I really did.
And
they had a lot of great players. Played great football. Even when Rashford and Asensio came in and gave them something different, they're just unrecognisable at the moment.
And Sunderland played the majority of that game with 10 men.
That's true. They did.
Yeah.
Oh, can we just have a moment actually? Granite Jacket's header for the assist was an absolute thing of beauty. The ball hung up in the air and it looked like you were looking at it going, this seems to be in the air for ages, and you were waiting for defender just to get out and throw a head on it or just make it difficult. Everybody just seemed to stand and watch. And Granit Xhaka just stood there, and it was almost like he just let it bounce off his head.
Yeah.
And it was so perfectly placed over the defence. In she goes. Great assist. What a player.
That's going to be one of the signings of the season.
I said it. I think I said it on the first episode.
You might have done.
Great piece of business.
It's a funny thing from an Arsenal perspective with Granit Xhaka. We went from looking at him and saying he was out the door this season. Remember, he was booed off the pitch. He was throwing the armband across the ground and shouting at the fans. You thought no way back for him. And then for a couple of seasons after that, he stuck around and became one of our top performers at the club. And everybody was like, no, don't go. Yeah,
it was a bit of... I always wondered actually what Arsenal fans' thoughts on him were, because obviously he went over to Bayer Leverkusen, won a league and stuff over there. He was part of that Xabi Alonso team that did really well that season. But yeah, I think he had a bit of a love-hate relationship. It was kind of a roller coaster.
A lot of fans really liked him. He won a lot of fans back over by the time he had left the club. What a signing for Sunderland. And again, I think they stay up this season, don't they?
They did. Well, based on how they're playing at the moment, absolutely, yeah.
So then, moving on to Arsenal and Man City. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it, I suppose. But I do want to say, very disappointed in what I saw in terms of the I say the starting lineup, not all of it, obviously. But when I saw Mikel Merino and Eberechi Eze on the bench.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But we have spoken about Mikel Merino, and he is a solid pro, and he's a 7 out of 10 player every week.
Can I give my perspective on it from a neutral?
Yeah.
Arteta, since he has come in, hasn't had an awful lot of silverware. As far as I'm aware, it's one FA Cup.
One FA Cup,
and that
2019.
was 5 months into the job.
Yeah. And that was the COVID season as well. Empty stadiums, all of that.
Yeah. But since then, he has laid the foundation for the club to be consistently challenging. But they've come up short a couple of seasons in a row now. There's been excuses, don't have a number 9, injuries, whatever it might be. You were looking at it going into this season and you were thinking, this is it now.
Yeah.
He can't have any excuses. With that squad that's been assembled, you cannot have any excuses.
There is no excuses, but like that, there's no excuse for the line to be picked on Sunday either.
But what's the point in putting all those years of work in to getting the foundations right, to finally getting an unbelievable squad, probably the best in the league, bar Liverpool maybe.
But it's even a better squad than Liverpool's in terms of cover per position, per players per position.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. But at what point does the mindset switch? Because Arteta is going into the big games with the mindset of don't lose. He's not going in saying this is one of the worst teams Man City have had in years. This is the opportunity to go in them. Like, did you not beat them 5-1 last year?
5-1. There's not the reverse fixture, the same fixture last year. 5-1 at the Emirates. I don't understand what's changed in the mindset. We've got players who are better able to break down teams, to unlock teams now. Players like Eze, Madueke, who had been fantastic, and was fantastic actually in that game. He was the only player who looked dangerous in the first half. Now out for 2 months, but anyway.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, because
it is unfortunate.
In a rich vein of form.
Was really, really annoyed when we scored on Sunday. People gave out about Arsenal and over celebrating that goal.
Pure relief more than anything.
I didn't even budge. And it was a cracking goal. And I was delighted for Martinelli, because he's a player who's come under a lot of scrutiny. I've criticised him myself.
So did I.
But he's had 2 really good games now for Arsenal. He saved us twice in a week.
Yeah.
So good for him. But really, I feel really am annoyed watching Arsenal in these big games now at the minute. I could give him Anfield, right? And I could give him the caution there. Going to Anfield, tough place to go. If you want a bit of safety and security, okay. But you're at home, you're playing Man City. Go for them. Go for them.
I wouldn't even be giving him Anfield. I just think, and what bothers me most about the City thing is, he must know that he came under heavy scrutiny after the Anfield game.
Mm-hmm.
And he must be thinking to himself, I'll show them.
Oh yeah.
I'll show them. But no, instead it's like, okay, first things first, hold the ball. Hold the ball for as long as you can. Don't do anything with it, just hold it. Just don't do anything. Let's just control this game, and we'll pounce when the moment is right. Bang, 8 minutes, Haaland. Okay, new game plan. No
new game plan.
No new game plan. We're just going to stick to exactly what we set out to do. Not going to make any changes until half time. And it took Eze. Now, I felt it was I'd say Savinho probably got lifted out at full time for just allowing Eze to make that ball.
That ball over the top.
That ball, no, it was a terrific ball, but no pressure on him whatsoever. Couldn't even say he was tired. I think he only came on 70 odd minutes. Absolutely no excuse.
Yeah.
What I would say is, I don't recognise that Man City team.
No.
Don't recognise it at all. I know the players.
When have you ever seen Man City line up like that?
They had 6 across the back, including Haaland at one stage.
Yeah. That was... I joke saying Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. But that was...
But that's extreme, though.
Yeah.
That is extreme. How do you go from tiki-taka football, playing out from the back, absolutely teams unable to put a glove on you for the majority of games, beating teams 6-7-0 like City used to do, and this, I'm not talking an awful long time ago, this was like the season before last. How do you go from that? Like, have they really lost that many players? Have they really lost?
No. They've lost De Bruyne, okay.
Has there been that many changes? But De Bruyne was on the bench.
Yeah.
For most of that season.
So I don't know what's changed there. Do you know what bothers me a little bit is that they seem immune to scrutiny. Like Arsenal, Arteta, and rightfully so, getting slaughtered. And people will say, "Oh, well, yeah, you know, City have won 5-6 titles the last."
But nobody enjoyed that game.
Nobody enjoyed that game.
No City fan, no Arsenal fan.
It was
neutral. Nobody enjoyed that game.
2 of the best teams in the country, and it was a terrible advertisement for the league.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. I just hope that's not the way football's gone now. You've got this new thing that teams seem to be adapting, and United did it the other day as well. From kick-off, playing it into touch. I'm going to say into touch because it was like something from rugby.
It looks
where
like
you're trying to gain yardages.
I've seen this. It looked like an American football play.
It was awful.
It does look like an American football play.
They're going back to long throw-ins.
Yeah.
Teams are heavily focused on set pieces, and the focus on the number 9 has come back.
Yeah.
But I don't think the number 9s are at the level that the number 9s we used to have back in the day. Now, I sound like an old man saying that, and I'm not talking that long ago. But when you had your Rooneys, your Henrys, your Van Persies, your Van Nistelrooys, and I put Rooney in there, but Rooney didn't even like playing number 9, but he's better than that that's out there now, with the exception of Haaland and maybe Isak. But I mean, I don't know what direction football at the top level is trying to go, particularly in England, because what should have been the best game of the weekend was the worst game of the weekend.
I could tell you now.
It made no sense to me.
I'll tell you now.
Arteta's line-out made no sense. Man City's line-up made sense, but their tactics didn't.
No.
Couldn't understand it.
For a lot of Man City Arsenal games, they are the worst game of the weekend, because the two coaches analyse everything to within an inch of its life, and you end up with this tactical snorefest. Do you know what I mean? And you do. I know, like, we beat them 5-1 last season, and that's an anomaly.
But we spoke earlier about grassroots football and with the silence on the sideline campaign and everything else, and we were saying, you know, you can't be over coaching. You have to allow for a bit of magic.
Yeah.
Football is remembered for the big moments and the magic moments, and they're getting fewer and further between because teams are overcoached.
Yeah.
Everybody has to play within the parameters that they're given by the coach. They're not allowed to express themselves, and it kills the game.
I'll leave it here for the City Arsenal game the weekend. Especially, I'll leave it on Arsenal because it's my club, obviously. But all you need to know about Mikel Arteta is told by the fact that he left Eze on the bench in that game. to begin the
100%,
game.
yeah.
You talk about magic in a player, and a player who can do something. Eze is that player.
But with Odegaard out, just direct replacement. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just put him in that 10 position.
It's not necessarily a direct replacement because he's a bit more forward running. And
I'm not saying like for like in terms of their playing style,
but
I
it's
mean
a positive player.
But somebody who's going to make something happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Odegaard is a bit more of a takes control of a situation and dictates it and gives the ball, gets it back or whatever. But you have Zubimendi that can do that.
Yeah, actually I was going to leave it there with as a selection, but actually, well, here is where I would leave it. I've seen Gyökeres come under a bit of scrutiny for having very little impact in a game or in games like that. What's he to do when the team selection behind him doesn't put the best players on to unlock him? I've seen him, he's making the runs, he's doing what he's supposed to do, but he's not getting the ball fed into him. And I guarantee you, and I'm not saying it's the wrong thing or the right thing, but I guarantee you as soon as Kai Havertz comes back from injury, Arteta is going to put him straight back into the team.
Yeah, and it's the same with United last season with Højlund.
Yeah.
It's the same so far this season with Sesko. If you don't put the ball in a position for them to score, if you're not giving them the opportunities to score, how are they going to score? If you're leaving creative players like Eze on the bench and you have Mikel Merino on instead, or if you're expecting Zubimendi to make that killer pass, or no, you need your Sakas, you need your Ezes to be creating.
Yeah.
And that's the only way it's going to happen. And it was the same with United. You had Garnacho last season cutting in every 2 minutes and taking it on himself when there was an easier pass there. And yeah, you can't be overly critical of number 9s if they're not getting the service.
No.
You can't. And I'm not just trying to stick up for Sesko. I mean, he had a great goal involvement for Mbeumo's goal with the header and the flick. And he's exactly as you said with Gyökeres, he's making those moves, he's looking to make the runs, and nobody's finding them.
No.
So I think it's the caught between a rock and a hard place.
I'm finding it very frustrating watching Arsenal when I'm watching it. Now I'm watching it on TV and whatever, and that's one thing. But you can see a player making a run, you can see a player making a move, trying to do the right thing, and just nothing happens. A sideways pass happens, or a backwards pass happens.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating. But I'll leave it there because I could go on. Funny enough, what was a terrible game, I could go on about it just as a rant about Arsenal.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective because two of what should be the greatest teams in the Premier League currently and challenging for the Premier League gave us the worst game of the weekend easily by far. So it's disappointing. It's not a great advertisement, as you said, for the
Liverpool now 5 points ahead as well, by the way, which is again a team who haven't looked at their best are now 5 points clear top of the Premier League before they even really hit form.
Salah coming into a bit of form, Isak now off the mark with Liverpool. So
I'm starting to firmly believe Liverpool are the favourites to win the Premier League this season,
which is disappointing because I don't think it's because they are brilliant. I mean, you would argue that they were better last season.
I suppose moving on to this weekend, Gav, and the first game of the weekend, Brentford v Man United.
Well, I've mentioned it enough now, and because the Chelsea game wasn't a statement win, it just wasn't. There was a lot of positives to take from it. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to completely disregard it, but we did play the majority of that game against 10 men, and Amorim has yet to win back-to-back league games.
Yeah.
So I think it's a must win. I think if he comes out or United in general come out and make a statement win there and beat them 3-0, 3-1, whatever it might be, but beat them comfortably and look like the system is doing something and look like the players are playing for you, I think it just sets you up nicely then to go into the following week against Sunderland and beyond to Anfield, as we spoke about earlier. So that's what I'm hoping for. Brentford coming off the back of a defeat against Fulham as well. So I am going to go for United 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah. I'm going to say Mbumo, Sesko, and Bruno.
Okay. I think I'll be tighter. I think he might win it, but I think I can see Brentford digging in.
One of the questions around United has been similar to Liverpool, the way they didn't kill off the game against Everton the weekend, is United's ability. They do seem to start games well, but if they don't score in that period, they are. It's almost like they get worried. It almost looks as though they're going, "Oh no, okay, just don't lose it now.
Yeah.
Just whatever we do, don't lose it. We haven't.
And
we weren't able to score. We're after trying really hard and we couldn't score."
Yeah, and the Chelsea game was a bit like that. It was, let's not lose now, do you know, and
that's what it is. So,
yeah.
I would like to see United
go and win a game.
Go 1-0 up, go 2-0 up, go 3-0 up, and relax.
Yeah.
And just relax then after that, but not get to 2-0 and still be panicking.
We'll see. It's actually a good game to open the weekend. I'm going to say you'll win it, probably 2-1. Then you have Chelsea and Brighton.
Chelsea-Brighton is an interesting one because Brighton coming off the back of a Desmond against Spurs.
Yeah.
And
they lost that late. They were 2-0 up in that game, I think.
Things don't seem right at Chelsea for me.
No.
I had Chelsea to finish third this season. They had a good Club World Cup, a couple of good pre-season friendlies after that. Bought pretty well. Got a lot of exciting players in. But I spoke about it before. They need a new goalkeeper. And they need more defenders.
Yeah.
They don't have enough defenders in there. Colwell was probably the best defender they had. Is he still out injured? I think he might be.
I'm going draw in that game.
Desmond?
Yeah, it looks like it could be another one. Has a
Desmond 2-2s.
That has a 2-2 all over it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like a ballerina.
Yeah. Palace at home to Liverpool.
Now, I think that could be a proper test for Liverpool, because we spoke about how we expected so much more from Man City and Liverpool, but Crystal Palace look really good.
They do look good, don't they?
They've got some solid players. Yeah. Matete. They've got a great manager as well. Glasner is a top manager.
Yeah.
I do rate him.
No, they look like a good side. I think Liverpool will win it, but as you say, it's a test.
It's a Selhurst as well, isn't it?
It is.
I think that has a draw written on it.
Do you think?
I think this could potentially be first points drop for Liverpool.
That's one of those games in the middle of a season. It doesn't look like much, but then all of a sudden you see you've dropped points. You know, so maybe.
See, what I find is Crystal Palace are in really good form for Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Where
Liverpool aren't in top form for Liverpool standards.
Yeah, okay.
So my
somewhere
reckoning
in the middle
is
of that.
Somewhere in the middle is a draw.
Yeah, okay.
That's where I'm at with it.
I can see that. Leeds Bournemouth. Good game, this one. Leeds at home. I think Bournemouth will win it. Bournemouth are in good form.
They are in good form, but Ellen Road's not an easy place to go, and the fans get behind you.
Yeah.
They'll be buzzing as well after beating Wolves last week. Oh, it's a difficult one to call. I'm gonna give it to Leeds, just to be different. You're going Bournemouth.
I'm gonna go Bournemouth. Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, Bournemouth are also a top side.
City Burnley. City at home.
Yeah, you would have to say Burnley aren't getting a point out yet. Eddie, really?
No, I don't think so.
I just hope I don't see Man City playing a back six against Burnley and Haaland playing as one of the four central defenders.
Yeah, I think maybe they'll let themselves go in this one.
Something that, I mean, just for football's sake, you'd like to see something that resembles the City of old. A bit of dominance in a game that is. I don't want them dominating the league, and I don't want Liverpool running away with it this season. I'd love to see 2-3 other teams just give them a run. Just don't hand it to them, because I know that they're at 100% at the moment, but they're not playing well enough to be champions at the moment.
Actually, give them a fight.
Yeah, you'd hate for it to be
to be
12, 14 points come Christmas. It would be awful.
From a Liverpool fan's perspective, they might tell me different, and they'd probably love to run away with it. But would you love your team to win it when it was a scrap and you knew your team actually fought for the title? It wasn't just like a. Wasn't just a.
See, this one,
like
this one will be league title 21.
Yeah.
So they'll overtake United.
That's the outright record back in their hands. Forest Sunderland. It's a good chance for Ange to get his first win there, I think.
I know, but we just spoke about how good Sunderland are.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah.
That's a tough one to call for me.
Draw. I think another draw.
I'm gonna tip it in Sunderland's favour. I think they're flying high at the moment.
I'm saying draw, but you know what? I'll move. I don't know. I'll change it. I'll say Forest to get that first win. They're at home.
Okay.
Right.
So that's another one we disagree on. That's a few now.
Yeah. Spurs Wolves. Moving on. No, I'm only messing. I'm joking. Spurs win that easy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And do you know what's interesting, right? Because you could put anybody against Wolves at the moment, and you just can't. It's going to be the other team. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not looking.
They
good
just
there,
look like they're going to lose every week, but they've given the manager a new contract.
That's a strange one.
Yeah, and you think they're backing the manager. So are they? I don't know what their angle is, because I mean, they're sitting bottom of the league. Nobody's backing them to pick up a point against anybody. So what are you saying? Are you setting yourself up
for next season
to go down to the Championship?
It's pretty early to be setting that stall out, isn't it?
Just adding stability. What's that in aid of? Are you trying to put a positive spin on things? I don't know. I mean, look,
it's early.
Contract in football doesn't mean a whole lot.
No,
giving people new contracts, especially at the lower end of the Premier League. I mean, it's not like getting rid of Jose Mourinho after 6 months of a 5-year contract and having to pay him 20 odd mil. It's not the same thing. It's not going to be that much.
So, Gav, moving on to Villa and Fulham, with Villa at home.
Yeah, I think even at Villa Park, Villa have been so poor, just not firing whatsoever. So we also complimented Fulham on how well they've been, and I can see a Fulham win there.
Yeah, I'm going to say a draw. I think
You're being very conservative today, Dave. You've had a draw on so many of these.
The logic with that one, I'm using the logic of finding the balance somewhere in the middle, with Fulham being away from home, Villa being at home. So I think I'm going to say a draw there. Now, speaking of being conservative, we move on to Newcastle versus Arsenal.
Oh, that was a nice segue.
Wasn't it?
Nice little transition there.
Yeah.
Are you speaking about Arteta's tactics and the Arsenal-Newcastle game?
I am.
That's a Newcastle win.
Do you know what? Newcastle away has been a bad fixture for Arsenal for a while now.
It's like that with most clubs. And
I can see Arteta tripling down on the conservative tactics in this game. This is another one he's going to want to go into and have control over the game, dominate possession, and try and nullify it that way, and then try and break Newcastle down. I go back. I'm getting frustrated again because I can see it, and if he doesn't line out with a positive team selection this weekend,
this is one of those games that, I mean, you could say it about most games, but it's going to be won and lost in the midfield. I think I'd say very, very likely that Arteta will go conservative across the midfield, at least for the first half, similar to his tactic against Man City, just to assert some sort of domination and not concede too early. Although it didn't really work, you could say, against City.
Do you know what? I was listening to another podcast. Do you know Arseblog?
Yes, I know of it.
They were talking on that about why not go out and win the game, and then revert to your conservative side. Go out and get 2 goals, and then if you want to bring on a Mikel Merino and solidify your midfield and gain more control over the game after you've gone out and taken the lead.
That is a fair point, but I think everybody looking at Arsenal right now is making the same point. Why are you not going to try win the game early? Why are you trying not to lose the game early and then going, okay, we've made it halfway through this game now, we're 60 minutes in, we haven't conceded yet, or it's still tight, let's throw on an Eze or a Saka or a Martinelli and we nick a win here. I can only imagine how frustrating it is from an Arsenal fan, because even from a neutral they're kind of going, I just want to see these players on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm at the turning this game on, it's Super Sunday, why are you sticking the most creative players that you have on the bench?
Yep. You look at that Arsenal squad and you know if someone would go there and take the chains off those players, you'd be looking at a really exciting team. Saka, Eze, Martinelli, when he's on form.
But like you said earlier, you're after paying all that money for Gyökeres, and you're not putting the creative players alongside him that are going to make that pass. You look what Eze did for the Martinelli goal, or even just Martinelli making a run, just doing something different. I mean, he makes that run another time and it's a cutback for Gyökeres and it's a tap in into the box. I mean, just do something different.
Yeah.
But actually go for the game, go for the win, assert your dominance, show your ambition to win the league. You've finished twice now, 2 years in a row.
3
years in a row. Just go and say, this is going to be our year.
Yeah.
We have set out your intentions, set out your stall. You should have done it against Liverpool, should have done it against City. Third time's the charm. Go beat Newcastle at St James's. That is a massive. You seen when Liverpool did it a few weeks ago at St James's.
Yeah.
Got a late winner like they've done most of this season. But that was huge. That was huge. They still haven't sort of kicked on and found form, but they're still picking up 3 points in every game that they play.
It's the maximum points for the season. I only spoke to you, I can't remember whether it was actually on the podcast or just speaking to you off here, about I still think Arteta is the right person. I'm really starting to change my mind on that. I haven't changed my mind on it yet. If he can show some sort of willingness to hold his hands up and say, okay, I've been wrong about team selection, or I've been wrong about elements of team selection. We're not even asking him to say.
When's he going to say that when Liverpool are 9 points in the lead?
Yeah, no. I do wonder if we saw an admission of that at half time against City. The reason I say that is he's not someone who makes half time substitutions, or he's not someone who changes the dynamic straight away. You're talking his substitutions are fairly predictable. You're talking 65, 70 minutes. You know, you'll see a change.
He's done it twice now, right? So he's done it against Liverpool and he's done it against City. And as the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool the third time, rumblings are going to start and people are going to be going, Arteta, this isn't good enough. And that's just going to be the sign of a manager who's afraid to lose, who is so tightly wound that they're more concerned with not being embarrassed or not losing or not giving the so-called other title contenders any more points than they need to.
Yeah.
So if you can give them 1 instead of 3, that's a victory to him.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to come across.
If that happens 3-4 times across the season, all of a sudden you've lost more points than you would have gained if you had gone for like.
If Liverpool keep doing what they're doing and picking up 3 points regardless before they've even hit a bit of form, and then Arsenal are going to St James's Park and coming away happy with a point, or going to the Etihad and coming away happy with a point, I mean, they're going to be way off by the time Christmas comes.
Yeah.
And they're going to be hoping and praying for a massive drop off from Liverpool to get some sort of title race going again. Sorry, what's your prediction? Sorry, for the Newcastle Arsenal game.
You know me, Gav. I've always been optimistic.
A conservative optimist, I would have said.
Yeah. No, look, I'll be optimistic and say we'll win it. I'll caveat that. We'll win it. if
This man
Arteta
loves a
picks,
caveat.
I do love a caveat. We will win it if Arteta picks the right lineup.
Okay, that's a big if.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, based on what I believe Arteta is going to do, I'm going to say 1-1 draw. So we just move on then to the final game on Monday. Everton versus West Ham. And it's at the Hill Dickinson.
Yeah, Everton are going to win that, I think.
Yeah, I don't see...
If they show up anyway like they did in the second half against Liverpool, and with West Ham the way they're playing.
Yeah, I know Liverpool showed up and played really well for the first half an hour, as we spoke about in the Merseyside derby the weekend. But it'd be a bit worrying for Moyes and that Everton team to have taken so long to get into the game.
Yeah.
And I think some of it was to do with Liverpool dropping off, taking the foot off the pedal a bit, being 2-0 up, probably thought they were home and dry, and gave Everton probably that opportunity to build up a bit of momentum in the game. But it's an interesting one. I think if you're just going on form alone, I think Everton come away with that, and the fact there is a bit of a good feel factor going around Everton at the moment between the new stadium, Jack Grealish doing well, the team doing well in general. So I think, yeah, I can see an Everton win there.
Yeah, I think so.
And again, if that is the case, how much longer does Potter have at the helm at West Ham?
Not very long, I would think.
So that's our roundup for match week 6, and we will be back next week for a full review of all those games, as well as shout outs to all of our listeners who get onto our socials, comment under our posts. So whether you're listening on Spotify, on YouTube, or you are catching us on our socials, comment, like, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you can hit the notification bell for updates on whenever our podcasts go live. And yeah, get in touch, get involved. We'd love to hear from you.
And thank you to anybody who brought up comments and questions and feedback for this week on across our platforms. We look forward to hearing from more of you.
Even if you don't agree with us, we just want to have a chat.
Yeah,
we just want to have a chat. So we want to hear both sides of all the coins. So come and talk to us. Let us know what's on your mind. If there's something that you'd like us to raise in one of the episodes, let us know. Any topics you want covered.
And if you are involved, as we said earlier in the show, with any clubs, grassroots clubs, amateur clubs around the country, and you'd like to come and have a chat with us, or you'd like us to discuss anything or shout anything out about your club, get onto us at anygames.ie and through any of our social platforms as well.
And just to use your word, Dave, caveat. I'll caveat that one. We are also happy to travel to your club and sit down. We are a podcast on wheels.
Yep, these microphones move.
So we can come to your club if you have an interesting character that would like to sit down and have a chat with us. If you have a chairman, an academy director, or just a fan of your club that's attended all your games for the last 30 years, whoever it might be, nominate them, put their name forward, let us know a bit of their backstory, and we can certainly try our best to make that happen.
Yeah. I think that might be it for this episode.
Is that it, Dave?
Yep.
Close us out. Slán a bhaile.
Goodbye.